riding in alongside is Coach Darrin Horn from Northern Kentucky University. Good to see you, man. I haven't seen you in forever.
It's been a minute. Yeah,
all right?
You would think it's only an hour away, but it's hard to get down.
Well, you and I used to do radio shows together. But this coaching career of yours has kind of caught some momentum. First of all, tell me how this game came together. How did they approach you or whoever up here at NKU and say, hey, how about the Wildcats coming to town?
Yeah, the initial contact came from Chris Waller directly to me just to say, hey, is that date available? Is that something, you guys would be interested in? And in my mind, absolutely. Why wouldn't we want, 6 or 8 or however many people show up, 1,000 people in our building that some of which are Norse fans and come to our games, but some maybe don't. We've got a tremendous basketball arena and a great basketball atmosphere and team. And so I think it's a win for everybody.
And as you mentioned, you were talking to the fans pregame, and you and I talked before that as well. You might win some new fans here. You've got some people in here for the first time, like me,
right?
Who might say, hey, I might want to come back and be a part of this.
Yeah, whether it's your first time as a fan or media or when we have recruits in, the first thing they say is, wow, I had no idea the arena was so nice. This is a big-time basketball arena. It seats about 9,000. We had 8,500 for our Cincinnati win last year.
Nice.
And it's a big-time college basketball atmosphere, and the people really care. And so, again, if these are some people that live close because they can't get to Lexington, I'd love to get to Lexington for all the Cats games, right? My son's on the bench, but it's hard to do. It's hard, especially with those 9 p.m. tips, right? Oh, yeah. You're probably taking naps on those days, huh?
I think.
I would have to.
What's it like for you, though, to have your son? Yeah, and you had a great college career, and your son could have gone somewhere, played a lot of minutes, scored a lot of points, but decided to be a part of the Wildcats. What's that like, Dad?
When we started going through the process with him, and Walker realized, okay, I may not be getting recruited at the Division I level I'd like to be at. He said, Dad, I just want to be in the absolute best basketball program that I can, and learn from the best people. And in my mind, that was a pretty easy answer, the University of Kentucky and John Calipari. And so, he has loved every minute of it. Cal and everybody treats him great. And I think, it's been an advantage for him. This is a kid that, grew up in the SEC, right? Was at Western Kentucky Basketball School, spent time in Austin, Texas, which he kind of considers home, at the University of Texas in the Big 12. So he's seen what big-time college athletics looks like, and he wanted to go to the University of Kentucky.
You were at the University of Texas for a minute, more than a minute, but now that team's coming into the SEC. Your reaction when you heard of that?
I think it's great for Texas. I think the one thing about Kentucky basketball is going to be Kentucky basketball, but I think for the SEC, it's good for the league, and it's great for Texas just because of the power and the depth of the SEC in every sport, but especially football for them.
When I worked down in Dallas quite a while ago, Texas had the best basketball facility in the old Southwest Conference, but they were beginning to draw interest. And I remember, Coach, when the Fab Five went to Michigan, 2 of those kids were from Texas.
Yeah.
And people down there were saying, why aren't they coming here?
Right.
Well, because you couldn't go to a summer basketball camp. You could go to all the football camps you wanted back in the 80s and early 90s, but you couldn't go to a basketball camp. That's all changed now, hasn't it?
No, it really has. And there's a huge emphasis on it. Their new arena will be the nicest in the SEC when they come online.
No kidding.
It's brand new.
Wow.
Unbelievable facility. And of course, unimaginable resources by college standards down there. And so I think it's going to be a great addition to the SEC, along with Oklahoma. Oklahoma is a place that loves their sports and performs well, but, across all of their sports.
I know as a coach, you just got to deal with what comes your way. And all this realignment because of football is driving everybody nuts, especially ADs, presidents, fans. Sure. I love the idea, and it's got to be manageable, of make a football alliance, leave everybody else alone for the geographical rivalries and things like that. And I would think it would help at NKU.
No, there's no question about it. We have a challenge. I was talking to Cal before the game, where he said, who are your big games? We've got to go to Washington, to play at St. Mary's.
Wait a minute, which Washington?
University of.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, University of, because
Not
again,
D.C.
No. Last year we had to go to Washington State. We're having a hard time getting those games regionally because we've had success, because we're hard to play against, because they've changed the RPI and the quad system. And so I think anything that could make things more regional would be great. I don't think that's going to happen, though. I think that, it's out of the box now.
Well, like I said, they could make it happen. The people in charge all went to school. They've all got degrees. They're all smart. They ought to be able to figure it out. Because I fear for March Madness. And I know how much you love it. And you've coached teams that had great success and pulled upsets and captured the nation's imagination. I fear for March Madness.
Well, and I think the real question, Dick, is what happens when the CBS contract is up? And I don't know the time frame on that. I think it's at least another 8, maybe 10 years. But that's the thing that's holding it all together. When that's over, what does it look like? And even before then, could they do something like they did with football, where they just form their own thing that's separate from the NCAA. So definitely interesting times ahead. The one thing you don't have to worry about is the University of Kentucky, the SEC, is going to be right in the mix at the forefront of everything when it happens.
Talking to Darrin Horn, who is the head coach at Northern Kentucky University, knows his way around a microphone. He has worked for ESPN, the SEC network, but now back as a head coach. Tell us about your team, what you got coming up.
We're excited.
Other than
for the
tough
season.
road trips.
Yeah, tough road trips, but we return our 3 best players, 2 of which, as I told the crowd here, are Kentucky boys. Marquez Warwick from there in Lexington, Henry Clay High School, and Sam Vincent from Fort Thomas Highlands, who took the team to the state championship his senior year. And then Trey Robinson is a returning senior for us, who's an outstanding player. And then, the portal was good to us. We got 3 transfers we think are really going to help us, including 2 big guys, Dick. I've never had a guy since we've been here that I could throw the ball to in the post, or that was a real rim presence in terms of protecting the rim defensively. We think we've got 2 of them now, and so we're really excited about the prospects for the season. The challenge, as you know, at our level is 3 days in March. That's it. We can go undefeated all year long, get upset in the tournament, you're not making the NCAA tournament. And so our whole deal, we've embraced that. We preach it to our guys and our fan base, and we want to be our best when it matters most.
I could change anything in college basketball. I would change that. So I don't know what I'd do, but there's got to be more of a reward for that grind of winning the regular season. I know you feel the same way.
Yeah, the regular season is huge. If you can survive that, you've earned something.
Yeah, but I understand why the tournaments are set up the way they are. You mentioned having some local guys. I got to think you get into Lexington to recruit, but the 9th region's got terrific basketball talent, doesn't it?
No, it really has. And, I think St. Vincent's a great example of that from right here in Fort Thomas. And he's literally across the street. It's like 5 minutes to his high school. And he is a special player for us. And, when we recruited him, we said, hey, man, I want him to put a statue of you out front. And he's bought into that. And, he's not satisfied with where we are. We made it to the tournament. We played Houston extremely tough. It's a 2-possession game coming out of the last media timeout. But we didn't get the win. So we feel like there's a lot more to be done here.
Before I let you go, tell me what you've seen in this Kentucky team.
I think what you've seen is a team that likes to play and likes to play together. That's my thing. I think there's a great energy about this team. That they look like a group that loves to play basketball, extremely gifted on the perimeter. At the end of the day, we're all going to be better when we have really good guards. And there's just something about the guard play here that feels like it's going to be significantly different than it was last year. And again, you don't even have the whole team out there now. So I'm really excited for them, and I hope everybody will be patient as they develop it. And Cal touched on it when he spoke to the crowd, Dick. They're going to coach a couple of different teams this year, right? Because as they get guys back, I went through that my first year here. We coached 3 different teams because we had 2 major injuries at separate times. And that's part of the process. But at the end of the day, I think this team could be really good, and I'm excited about it.
Coach, I'm excited for your success. Thanks for stopping by. My best to your brother, Greg.
Thank you. Appreciate it. And let me say what I forgot when I spoke to the crowd. If you want season tickets or want to come, NKUNorse.com. You can get on there and get all the information that you need.
Norse up.
Right. Yeah, there you go. Norse up, baby.
Thanks buddy. Good to see you, man. That's Darrin Horn, Tate's Creek Commodore. And now my broadcast partner will step back in out of Dunbar High School.